All right, to our breaking news now on Pope Francis, head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican city-state, has died aged 88. Pope Francis was elected in 2013, marking a new era for the Catholic Church as its first leader from the Western Hemisphere, the first from South America and the first from the Jesuit order.
On April 21st, 2025, Pope Francis passed away at the age of 88, following a stroke that led to a coma, an irreversible cardiac arrest. His death occurred quietly at his residence in the Vatican's Casa Santa Marta, just one day after delivering his final public blessing on Easter Sunday. The world mourns the loss of a spiritual leader who left a deep and lasting mark on the Catholic Church and global society. Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in Buenos Aires, Argentina, Pope Francis made history in 2013 by becoming the first Jesuit, the first Latin American, and the first non-European pope in over 1,000 years.
265 popes had come before him, but his was a papacy of firsts. The first pope from the Americas, the first pope from the Southern Hemisphere, the first Jesuit in the role. Born in Buenos Aires in 1936, Jorge Mario Bergoglio was the son of Italian migrants who escaped fascist Italy. His father worked on the railways. He was a born fighter. When he was 21, an infection meant part of his lung had to be removed. Jorge graduated as a chemical technician. His first jobs were as a janitor and a bar bouncer before choosing the path to the priesthood. He was ordained in 1969. He became Archbishop of Buenos Aires. And in 2001, he was made a cardinal by Pope John Paul II. He held several key administrative positions before, in 2013, at the age of 76, his fellow cardinals elected him leader of the world's 1.3 billion Catholics. Taking the name Francis, the patron saint of animals and helper of the poor.
Buonasera.
He set the tone early. On the night he was elected, he passed up a ride in the papal limousine and travelled on a bus back to his hotel and chose to stay in a simple apartment, passing up the much larger official residence, saying, "I can't live here, I would die. I need people." Pope Francis shunned the lavish regalia of his predecessors and preferred the common touch.
I think a lot of people that was very far away from the church returned to the church because this man can speak in a very simple way to everybody.
His mission was to transform the long-standing conservative image of the Catholic Church. He spoke out for society's most marginalised and called for urgent action on climate change. In 2016, he gave priests the power to forgive women who undergo abortions. He was hell-bent on rooting out corruption in the Vatican's finances and dealing with the horrific legacy of child sex abuse within the Church. And he took his message around the world. A strong advocate for interfaith discussions, he visited more than 60 countries. His travels documented in an award-winning production. The pandemic couldn't stop him. War, the only barrier, leaving him to pray for the victims of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and it brought him to tears. Pope Francis gained a reputation for being approachable and down to earth, often described as the people's pope, the pope of the 99%.
People were very struck by his concern for others. I think that was there from the very, very beginning. It's actually the way he's living now as Pope isn't so different from how he used to live as Cardinal Archbishop of Buenos Aires. But that's Pope Francis. He is above all a pastor.
Time named him Person of the Year in 2013, one of many magazine covers he made. As he joined the world of Twitter, he became a social media star with more than 18 million followers, and he became an Instagram influencer. But he had enemies within the Church, his critics saying he strayed too far from the Catholic doctrine. In turn, he complained that traditionalist Catholics were gagging the Church's modernising reforms.
His papacy and world leaders from every continent.
Continuing with our faith lead, Pope Francis's sudden death today came as something of a surprise, but his long illness and hospitalization, of course, this year led Vatican watchers to start speculating about who might be chosen as the next pope. Conclave, a movie about intrigue during a papal election, made a big splash not long ago during Oscar season. So we asked CNN's Nick Watt to look ahead and try to sort out fact from fiction.
A new pope to lead the world's 1.4 billion Catholics will be chosen by just around 130 cardinals in a mysterious, many centuries old rite, the conclave, conclave, with key.
They're locked into the Vatican, and all their phones are taken away. They're not allowed to communicate with the outside world until they elect a pope.
Every cardinal under the age of 80 is summoned to Rome for this and must swear an oath of secrecy, punishable by excommunication.
It's a secret ballot. The cardinals don't even know who voted for whom.
Father Reese says the movie Conclave got it almost right.
You have to commit to a side.
Except a secretly elected cardinal would never be allowed in, and the cardinals' robes were slightly the wrong color.
I think Hollywood got it better than the Catholic Church. I like the deeper red.
By day, the cardinals will sit in silence and prayer in the Sistine Chapel under Michelangelo's magnificent ceiling. 2 votes in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, until one candidate wins 2/3 of the ballots. By night, they stay in a boarding house nearby where the horse trading happens late into the evening.
Different cardinals will go around pushing for the candidate that they would like to see become pope. Your friends have to do that for you. You cannot do that yourself. That would indicate a level of pride that would be unacceptable in a pope.
The Pope just has to be male and Catholic, but since 1389, the cardinals have always elected one of their own.
This moment represents the rapidly growing Catholic population in Africa. His election would be historic, making him the first African pope in over 1,500 years. Meanwhile, conservatives are rallying around Cardinal Peter Erdo of Hungary. Known for his traditionalist views and his support and subscribe.